Sri Lanka Insurance Mini Muthu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection and a range of additional covers.
In a few moments, the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(1:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris, read by Sounditavam. The funeral of the most venerable Valamiti Ave Kusaladamma Thera to be held today with full state honours. The interprovincial travel restrictions lifted from today. A special Gazette notification issued declaring the ports, petroleum, postal, transport and state banks as essential services. COVID-19 infection cases linked to the New Year cluster is on the rise. The administration of the third dose of the COVID vaccine to frontline professionals, including health staff, commences tomorrow. The Minister of Finance says he will have an opportunity to present an effective budget for the country and the people. The leader of the opposition says a number of issues have arisen due to the government's decision to ban chemical fertilizer. In international news, moment of truth as World Meets for Climate Summit COP26 in the Scottish city of Glasgow. In sports, it's rugby, the grand final of the Warrior Trophy Rugby Sevens tournament to take place at the Police Park this evening. The funeral of the late Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya, Chief Judicial Prelate for the two regions of Colombo and Shillong, and the Chief Incumbent of the Palayagoda Vidyalankara Pirivena, Agamaha Pandit, Dr. Most Venerable Valamiti Ave Kusaladamma Thera, will be held this afternoon with full stage patronage and full state honours at the Independence Square. Today has been declared a day of mourning. The head of state, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, paid his last respects to the late Chancellor of the University of Kelaniya on Friday at the Vidyalankara Pirivena in Palayagoda. Meanwhile, a special traffic plan will be in place in lieu of the final rites of the late prelate. The funeral procession will begin from the Palayagoda Vidyalankara Pirivena at 12:30 p.m. today. Thereby, the cortege will travel via Kandy Road, Kelaniya Bridge, Baseline Road, Bandaranaike Junction, Orugodavatta Junction, Ingram Junction, Dematagota Junction, Prison Junction, Borala Junction, GS Senanaike Junction, Horton Vijayarama Junction, Nanda Motors Junction and the Independence Square on Independence Mavatha. The police urge the public to use alternative routes at such times to avoid traffic congestion. Furthermore, a special live broadcast of the final rites of the late prelate, Dr. Valamiti Ave Kusaladamma Nayaka Thera, will be aired by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation on the national service beginning at 3 p.m. With the lifting of the travel restrictions enforced across the country by the government this morning, interprovincial bus and train services will resume with effect from tomorrow. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the recent Special Committee on COVID-19 Control instructed to remove the interprovincial travel restrictions that were in effect for over 3 months from 4 a.m. today. The Director General of the National Transport Commission, Nilan Miranda, said that the interprovincial bus service will commence from today with the easing of travel restrictions, and steps have been taken to operate special bus services for office workers coming to Colombo from various parts of the country. Moreover, the General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways, Dhammika Jayasundara, said that interprovincial trains will be operated from tomorrow. Another 136 individuals have tested positive for COVID-19. Accordingly, a total of 564 new infections have been recorded yesterday, all cases linked to the New Year cluster. Sri Lanka's coronavirus caseload accordingly increases to 539,980. 316 individuals recovered and were discharged during the past 24 hours. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said 13,774 persons are currently receiving treatment for the coronavirus at several facilities across the country. 19 COVID-19 deaths were confirmed yesterday, increasing the virus death toll to 13,725. The administration of the third dose of the COVID vaccine to frontline professionals, including health staff, will commence tomorrow. The Minister of Health, Kelia Rambakwala, stated that all arrangements have been made to provide the third dose of the COVID vaccine to the citizens of this country from tomorrow. He was speaking at a media briefing held at the Health Ministry auditorium recently. The minister said that a booster vaccine will be given to the people of this country and priority will be given to those in the health, defence and tourism sectors. He pointed out that a stock of 1 million vaccines have been received to start this program and that the country receives around 400,000 vaccines every week. Meanwhile, 116,151 individuals were administered vaccine doses against the coronavirus yesterday. The Minister of Finance, Basil Rajapaksa, says that he believes that he will have an opportunity to present an effective budget for the country and the people. The Minister of Finance expressed these views while responding to media queries after visiting Kandy to pay homage to the sacred Tooth Relic. Minister Basil Rajapaksa paid homage to the sacred Tooth Relic and called on the chief prelates of Malvatta and Askiria and briefed them on the forthcoming budget. The debate on the appropriation bill for the year 2022 will be held from November 12th to December 10th. The vote on the third reading of the budget will take place on December 10th at 5 p.m. The Minister of Finance also said that the discussions held with the government partners regarding the Yugadanavi power plant have not been considered yet. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, says a number of issues have arisen due to the government's sudden decision to ban chemical fertilizer. Addressing a function in Kandy, MP Premadasa said it was essential that a formal study be carried out before a policy decision is taken over such a matter. MP Premadasa said state sector policy decisions must be reached in a well thought out manner, while studies and research must be carried out prior to reaching a decision. He added that there has to be a roadmap and a method as to how policy decisions will be implemented, while the goal and the result must be assessed subsequently. The Ministry of Health today, stressing proper adherence to health guidelines as the country lifts all restrictions, issued new instructions to follow for the next 15 days. Issuing a new set of guidelines for public and work-related activities from the 1st to the 15th of November 2021, the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said, although a significant control of the COVID-19 epidemic in the country has been achieved, there is still a risk for escalation in COVID-19 transmission due to cluster formation. Under this situation, the efforts taken in the gradual reopening of the country, it is important to comply with the guidelines issued by the Director General of Health Services, subject to quarantine regulations. The term of the Special Presidential Commission of Inquiry, appointed to implement the recommendations of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into political victimization, has been extended. Accordingly, the term of the Presidential Commission, which was set to expire last Friday, has been given an extension of 6 more months until April 28, 2022. The Special Commission was established by the President on January 28 this year through the notification published in the Gazette Extraordinary number 2212/53. Supreme Court Judge Dhammika Priyantha chairs the tri-member commission, while Supreme Court Judge Kema Kumudini Wickramasinghe and Appeals Court Judge Ratnapriya Gurusinghe serve as its members. That's local news.
Just as love and freedom are important to a child, so too is knowledge. Encouraging their pursuit of knowledge is our most important responsibility as parents.
Sri Lanka Insurance Minimuthu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection and a range of additional covers. Minimuthu education plans for children who dare to dream. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
An extraordinary Gazette notification has been issued declaring several services, including the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, the Sri Lanka Railway Department, all district and divisional secretariats, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the Postal Department as essential services. The Gazette was issued by the President's Secretary P.B. Jayasundara on the instructions of the President and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
This is Watchlight.
The Ministry of Education says in-person education for students of grades 10, 11, 12 and 13 in all schools will resume on Monday, November 8th. A press release issued by the ministry said the recommendations of the Special Committee on COVID-19 Control was received with regard to the resumption of academic activities. The Education Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said the authorities aim to conduct the Grade 5 Scholarship and GCE Advanced Level examinations in the first quarter of the year 2022. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines, Moment of Truth as World meets for Climate Summit COP26 in the Scottish city of Glasgow. Massive crowds demonstrate against military takeover in Sudan. And a retired utility worker in the US wins a $2 million lottery for the second time. The highly anticipated COP26 Climate Change Summit begins in the Scottish city of Glasgow today. Delegates from about 200 countries will be there to announce how they will cut emissions by 2030 and help the planet. Day 1 will see a report on the state of the climate released by the World Meteorological Organization. With the world warming because of fossil fuel emissions caused by humans, scientists warn that urgent action is needed to avoid a climate catastrophe. The WMO's provincial report by climate scientists will compare global temperatures this year so far with previous years. Hundreds of thousands of people are demonstrating across Sudan in protest of Monday's military's takeover, marking the largest protest against the coup yet. The streets of the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, were packed with protesters last morning, with demonstrators chanting anti-military slogans and waving anti-coup banners. The nationwide protests were called by the activist coalition Sudanese Professional Association. A Maryland man in the US has just claimed his second $2 million lottery prize after winning the first one several years ago. The retired utility worker from Salisbury bought two $2,000 million richer scratch-off tickets from a local Exxon gas station. On the first ticket, he uncovered a $100 prize, but the second ticket hit big, revealing the $2 million jackpot. The lucky player discovered he won during the pandemic, but kept the ticket hidden in a safe until days before the expiration date. To conclude this bulletin of world news, a recap of the headlines. Moment of truth as world meets for climate summit COP26 in the Scottish city of Glasgow. Massive crowds demonstrate against military takeover in Sudan. And a retired utility worker in the US wins a $2 million lottery for the second time. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development News.
The Vice President of the China National Machinery Import and Export Corporation, Wu Yi, called on the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to China, Dr. Palitha Kohana, earlier in the week at the embassy to explore the possibility of establishing a vehicle plant in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan embassy in Beijing said they plan to produce and promote the MG, Cherry and Proton brands in Sri Lanka. The China National Vehicles Import and Export Company Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of China National Machinery Import and Export Corporation. Ambassador Dr. Kohana stated that the government of Sri Lanka welcomes investment in the automobile sector. The ambassador explained the domestic market for vehicles and the wider market that is available given Sri Lanka's location in a prosperous region of the world. That came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
In rugby, the Warrior Trophy Rugby Sevens Tournament 2021 kicked off yesterday at the Police Park with 10 teams vying for honours. The games were worked off without any spectators due to the prevailing coronavirus situation. Fancied CHNFC, Sri Lanka Police and the Sri Lanka Air Force finished unbeaten on day one of the tournament. Day 2 will see 13 matches including the Cup final being worked off from 9:40 a.m. today. The Cup quarter-final games will be worked off during the morning session. Playoffs and semi-finals and the final will be worked off in the afternoon session. The grand final of the Warrior Trophy Rugby Sevens Tournament 2021 is scheduled for 4:45 p.m. later in the day. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is expected to grace the occasion as the chief guest. That came to you in sports news. Business news up next.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka recently launched a virtual career guidance session aimed at reconnecting with lapsed students. The session, titled Reset, Refresh, Renew, targeted CS students who dropped out midway during the program. During the highly interactive session, students were educated on the importance of the qualification, its global mobility, and how to fast-track their journey to become chartered accountants, as well as to early exit routes the qualification offers. The initiative is part of an ongoing effort to encourage lapsed students to rejoin CS Sri Lanka and complete their lifelong ambition of becoming recognised accounting professionals. That came to you in business news. We look at economic news next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka's central bank has further tightened surrender requirements for foreign exchange earned by exporters, specifying allowed deductions after the credibility of the soft peg, its money paper with the US dollar, was lost due to money printing. The central bank has specified imported inputs, loan repayments and travel costs. The central bank said it was tightening rules in a roadmap presented earlier this month. That's economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning with video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
The Department of Meteorology predicts the low pressure to persist in the vicinity of Sri Lanka and showers and thundershowers will occur at times in the northern, north-central, northwestern, eastern and Uva provinces. Showers and thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere, especially during the evening or night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the northern, north-central, northwestern, central, Sabaragamu and Uba provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Sea areas, the low pressure in the vicinity of Sri Lanka is affecting the weather over sea areas around the country. Showery and windy conditions are further expected over the sea areas around the island. That came to you in the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The funeral of the Most Venerable Valamitiyave Kusala Dhammathera to be held today with full state honours. The interprovincial travel restrictions lifted from today. A special Gazette notification issued declaring the ports, petroleum, postal, transport and state banks as essential services. COVID-19 infection cases linked to the New Year cluster is on the rise. The administration of the third dose of the COVID vaccine to frontline professionals, including health staff, commences tomorrow. The Minister of Finance says he will have an opportunity to present an effective budget for the country and the people. The leader of the opposition says a number of issues have arisen due to the government's decision to ban chemical fertilizer. Moment of truth as the world meets for Climate Summit COP26 in the Scottish city of Glasgow. And the grand final of the Warrior Trophy Rugby 7 tournament to take place at the Police Park this evening. That concludes this afternoon's news broadcast.